and welcome to our news broadcast here from Canal Algérie. First, the top stories of the news. With steadfast determination, Algeria continues its endeavours to back the Palestinian cause, despite the US veto depriving Palestine of full membership within the United Nations. Algeria's financial aid to the UNRWA is highly recommended by the Palestinians in a dire need to such a lofty move likely to alleviate their daily suffering. And more support gained by the Western Sahara, the last colony in Africa, as the Solidarity Forum winds up its procedures. Welcome back to our news. Now in full, the UN Security Council missed yesterday the opportunity to settle for a lasting solution the issue to repair historic injustice, as well by granting Palestine full membership within the United Nations. The USA veto undermined all the efforts to achieve this objective, actively advocated by Algeria. More details with Melissa Kabashi in this report.
A not-so-shocking news, the United States vetoed, and by this undermined the Palestinian dream to fully adhere to the United Nations. Knowing the U.S. alliance with the Zionist entity currently committing a genocide against innocent civilians, Algeria is now willing to give up and will continue its efforts, as indicated by Ambassador Ammar Ben Jama, until the State of Palestine becomes a full member within the United Nations.
The overwhelming support for the application of the State of Palestine sends a crystal clear message. The State of Palestine deserves its rightful place among the members of the United Nations. To those who were unable to support the admission of the State of Palestine today, we hope, we really hope, they will have to do so next time, when the Security Council will reconsider the question of admission of Palestine again.
Despite the refusal, Palestinians remain determined to pursue their fight, as underlined by the Palestinian ambassador to the UN, Riyad Mansour, who hailed on this occasion Algeria's constant efforts.
وهنا نجدد عميق امتناننا للجزائر الشقيقة.
I would like to express my gratitude to the brotherly country of Algeria and the Arab Group, the Islamic Cooperation Organization, and the non-aligned movement, in addition to all those back in the adhesion of Palestine and those who voted in favor of the resolution.
And I was moved by all of your statements, those who voted in favor and even those who voted differently.
Mr. Mansour's speech didn't leave those present in the Council indifferent, nor those watching across the globe. The international community, for its part, openly denounced the Security Council's failure to adopt Algeria's draft resolution. As for Russia, it underlined through its permanent representative in the UN that the US veto didn't only reduce the macabre list of martyrs claimed by warmongers and a Zionist killing machine unwilling to bury the hatchet of war.
In another development, Algeria's financial aid to the UNRWA amounting to $15 million came in due time to alleviate the untold suffering of the Gazan population, who reacted positively to this lofty move, according to our correspondent Wissam Abu Zaid, taken up by Leticia Sadqawi.
Ever since Algeria began its mandate as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, it has spared no effort to back the Palestinian cause and remained faithful to its firm positions. Pursuant to the order of the President of the Republic, Algeria allocated a new financial aid to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, or the UNRWA, a decision that was commanded by Palestinians.
We would like to thank Algeria government and people for its unwavering support to the Palestinian people with constant additional contributions to UNRWA.
UNRWA, created by the UN General Assembly in 1949, is the backbone of the humanitarian operations in Gaza. The Zionist genocidal machinery has tried through all means to curb the activities of this agency since the beginning of the aggression. 178 of its employees were killed and 163 of its facilities were damaged in Gaza by the Zionist aggressor.
For more than 70 years, UNRWA always came to our rescue. They have actively took part in the great task of delivering educational and health facilities despite the hindrances put by the Zionist entity. Algeria deploys tireless efforts to give us help and assistance, notably by trying to achieve an immediate ceasefire. Since early age, I remember the unwavering support of Algeria to the Palestinian cause, but this year particularly stands out with all these initiatives.
According to Wissam Abu Zaid, EPTV's correspondent in Gaza, the contribution of Algeria to UNRWA's budget is a glimpse of hope to Palestinians, thus reinforcing the mandate of this agency in its judicial status and role in accordance with the UN principles in face of the Zionist maneuvers to shut down this vital UN agency.
Still in the region and on the ground, the macabre list of martyrs is getting longer, giving the intransigence of the occupation forces determined to conduct its cleansing war, targeting innocent and defenseless people despite the diplomatic efforts to silence arms and establish peace in the wake of the UN ceasefire resolution. The latest developments unfolding in the region with Leticia Sadqawi once again.
Despite all the atrocities committed by the occupation army on the ground, the brave fight of Palestinians continue. In a new report by the United Nations Children's Fund, or UNICEF, the number of Palestinian children murdered soared to more than 14,000 since October the 7th. The devastating Zionist aggression has resulted in more than 100,000 martyrs and wounded, mostly women and children, as well as the massive destruction and famine which cost the life of children and elderly, according to Palestinian and UN data. For its part, the European Union imposed on Friday sanctions on 4 settlers and 2 Zionist extremist military groups for violence committed against Palestinians in the West Bank and occupied Al-Quds. According to the EU's Council, these individuals and entities sanctioned are responsible for serious human rights violations against Palestinians. These violations include torture acts and other cruel, inhumane and degrading treatment, as well as violation of the right to property and the right to private and family life of Palestinians. The sanctions provide for the freezing of assets. The decision of the European Union to target violent settlers in the West Bank comes 2 months after similar measures were taken by the United States and the United Kingdom. Measures that were not respected by the Zionist occupier, which continues to violate international rights and persists in its aggression in all impunity, despite the adoption of an immediate ceasefire resolution by the Security Council and its appearance before the ICJ for war crimes.
To other news now. At the end of his mission, the Foreign Affairs Minister Ahmed Attaf held at the UN premises in New York high-level discussions meant to implement the UN's Sustainable Energy Decade. Ahmed Attaf seized this opportunity to present Algeria's experience at the national level and its valuable contribution to attain energy security both regionally and internationally. The Foreign Affairs Minister also held discussions with his Sierra Leonean counterpart, during which they examined the 2 countries' activities within the UN Security Council. Ahmed Attaf met equally with his Iranian opposite number and discussed with him the progress made so far following the meetings held by the 2 countries' leaders, in addition to ways and means of backing the Palestinian cause. Iran's state media reported explosions in the central province of Isfahan on Friday. The air defense brought down 3 small drones while the nuclear sites were secured, according to the same sources. The air defense were activated and flights across the country were suspended, including the capital Tehran. According to the US officials, it's a retaliatory attack carried out by the Zionist army against Iran. On the diplomatic front, Russia and China opposed the this action likely to further escalate the situation in the region, while the UN called for easing tension. To another pending colonization issue now, namely the Western Sahara, gaining more and more support during the Solidarity Forum held in Tundif province, where the participants stressed the necessity to speed up the process of setting this equation, deemed as the last colony in Africa. More details with both Omar Tigawin and Melissa Kebesh.
The International Forum of Solidarity with the Sahrawi People, held in Tundif province, wound up yesterday under the supervision of the President of the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, Brahim Ghali. The participants stressed the necessity to combine efforts and mobilize the civil society across the world to support the Sahrawi cause.
The participants underscored the need to coordinate efforts between civil society in the world so as to reaffirm their support to the Sahrawi cause. This conference constitutes a new hope for the Sahrawi people. It highlights the solidarity of Arab people with this just cause. There's a similarity between the Moroccan occupier and the Zionist occupier in Palestine. We're enduring the same awful practices.
On this occasion, the Sahrawi president called on the international community to bring support to the Sahrawi cause so as to ensure its people the right to self-determination and independence.
At a time where both the Sahrawi and Palestinian causes are discussed at the level of the Security Council, we reaffirm that the last and just settlement is the respect of the UN's Charter to put an end to colonization, guarantee independence to oppressed peoples and colonized countries. It is a necessity to allow peoples to exercise their right to self-determination.
The Sahrawi president also hailed Algeria's constant efforts deployed in support of this fair cause.
On this occasion, I hail Algeria's support and recognize its efforts deployed under the aegis of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, who's raising the voice of oppressed peoples in the UN Security Council, pleaded in favor of just causes taught by the Palestinian and Sahrawi causes. This reflects Algeria's attachment to human values inspired by its combat and glorious revolution.
Held under the motto Challenges and Perspectives, this third Arab International Forum promoted further international mobilization and support in favor of Western Sahara, the last colony in Africa.
Sports now. CS Constantine secured a praiseworthy victory in Khanshla over the home side with 2-1 as part of the 23rd week of the National Football Championship. For its part, Belouizdad trounced US Biskra with 4-0. AS Sétif came back from behind and defeated Paradou AC with 2-1. And AC Schliff beat US Wetsuf with 2-0. MCA remains always top leader despite its goalless draw with NC Magra.
شوف جديد يفكر ويفضل تغيير جهة اللعب. بن عيادة ذكية والرابع لمزيان. ذكية جدا من بن ذكية، ما فيش وضعية تسلل، الخروج من وراء اللاعبين وبطريقة ذكية في الزاوية المعاكسة. شوف حارس في جهة والكرة في الجهة الأخرى.
And we come to the end of our news bulletin in English, broadcast here from Canal Algérie. Keep tuning to our channel. Tomorrow, another day, other news. Take care and bye-bye for now.